everybody, welcome back to Belle's Library. Today I want to share with you guys a book haul from my mom. So my mom lives about 1,800 miles from me in Oregon, and I live in Arkansas. So we see each other about every 9 to 12 months, and but we love to exchange things through the mail, right? So we're sending each other boxes of goodies and things, and she recently sent me a box of books. Before this, she actually sent me, I should show you guys these sometimes, but she sent me a bunch of bookends for my new library, and they are things that my grandmother had, my great-grandmother had, and my mom had kept, and she sent to me different bookends for my library. Super neat. So one of these days I will prop all these up with something else and show you these bookends. But today we're going to go through this box that I just received from my mom a couple of days ago. Now this box has some antique books in it as well as a couple of modern things. She went to a really great yard sale from what I understand and picked up some cool books there. So she sent them my way and I just thought you guys would like to see these. So I love to collect old books, new books, whatever books, but I do have quite a good extensive collection of, you can kind of see some of them there behind me, of antique books that I just really enjoy reading. I think it's important to preserve that literature in a paper form. A lot of things are going digital. A lot of authors are getting lost out there and forgotten. And so I'm kind of trying to preserve that here in my library. All right, so the first one that she sent me, this is called Mary Jane in New England by Clara Ingham Judson. This is a well-loved and used copy, obviously, and it has a pretty book plate on the inside here. So Mary Jane was a series, other books, Mary Jane and Her Book, Mary Jane, Her Visit, Mary Jane's Kindergarten, just a series of books about Mary Jane. So this one was published in 1921. I've never read anything about Mary Jane, but I have seen these in other places. So that will be fun to read and enjoy. She sent me a fun old English book here, language series, daily life language series. And this is from the school district that is the town that she lives in Oregon. And it just talks about like the history of language. The first chapter is language from the beginning, and it talks about languages of Native Americans and goes into talking about the Arabian Nights, it looks like. Here is a picture of Roman children with scrolls, supposedly schooling themselves there. It talks and teaches about like pictographs by giving a little example here, right, of a pictograph that we could come up with, right, with our own pictures. And then it kind of goes later into machines that can think, invention in modern life. It says, machines that can think, that is what we might say when we see how many things our modern office machines can do. It seems almost as if they can see, hear, feel, read, write, and count. They can do in a few minutes what required hours for men to do without them a few years ago. So this particular volume was published in 1934, and here is a picture of these machines. It has a telephone operator and someone working a cash register, possibly an x-ray machine, and a lady at a typewriter. It has a guy, looking down at a speedometer on his car. And then maybe the telegraph operator. So that's just interesting. It's just all about language. It teaches them about abbreviations and how to write a letter. Talks about a campaign, like making a speech and campaigning for different things. There are some poems in the back here. So some of you might remember my video that I did about the secret lives of books, and I showed how I found all these pressed flowers and some other cool things in a old Nathaniel Hawthorne book. And this one has a couple of forgotten bookmarks in it as well. On this page, there's this bookmark here that just says L46, which I'm assuming is, less than 46 maybe. And then in more towards the front here, there is this paper here that has a plane on it. So I thought that was cool. I always like to find old things tucked away in books and wonder about how long they've been in there, right? But this will be a fun little volume to read through and learn some stuff. All right, the next one in here, this is Boots and the Mystery of the Unlucky Vase. this is what the inside looks like. And somebody, Rita Mae McMillan, wrote her information, address and phone number here. So this must have been her book. This is based on a newspaper comic, Boots and Her Buddies. So Boots must be one of these little girls up here, I'm assuming, up at the top. And the cartoon artwork here actually reminds me of the Little Orphan Annie comic strip. If you look at the bottom, the two adults here have those circle glasses, but it kind of also reminds me of Annie and how it was just circle eyes, right, for her. So I'm curious if it's a popular art style or if it's the same artist or if I'm just coming up with that. But anyway, that'll be fun. All right, next one up is called The Country Wife. And I kind of read a little bit. This one is Dorothy Van Doren. Let's see who this is by. And I kind of read just like the first paragraph of it. And it sounds like it's told by a country wife. It starts out, every year the business of packing up to go to the country seems to get worse. My husband is a university professor, and we spend 4 long months at our farm in Connecticut. This period is the occasion for jeers and envy on the part of our friends. Pretty nice vacation, they say. Not bad at all. 4 months, 1/3 of a year off. There are 2 catches in this one. One, during the 8 months he is teaching, the professor works 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. And 2, he also works very hard 3 of the 4 vacation months. But since it's in the country and a study off in a meadow, it doesn't look like a work to a toiler in the city. But anyway, so she's talking about how they're packing up and stuff to go out to the country. So it doesn't sound like she's a full-time country wife, but maybe this story will be about their time in the country. We'll see. But this looks kind of fun. And one of the pictures has her looking at mushrooms through a magnifying glass. So yeah, this will be a fun read. This was published in... I gotta figure out Roman numerals. Hold on. I'm gonna go with 1950. We'll see. If I'm right, I'll look it up later. Okay, next up is this one, Sandra of the Girl Orchestra. And this is the picture. That's like a grown woman. I don't look like a girl to me. That looks like a mom. This was published in 1946. Sandra of the Girl Orchestra is by Ruby Lorraine Radford. And it sounds like it's all about Sandra. Oh, Sandra Middleton flew to the phone. Anyone would think you were 9 instead of 19 for that graceful way that you ran down the stairs. But it sounds like she got accepted into an orchestra. So it's kind of looks like it's a story all about that experience for her. So that will be fun. She just looks much more classy than I did at 19. Just gotta say. But here she is falling again. I think that Sandra might have to lower her heels at the very least. But this looks like a sweet story for sure. Oh, hand over the violin. So there's a little bit of crime and suspense here in the story. And they were on their way to Radio City. So this will be fun. And then, okay, I'm kind of trying to go in order from like oldest to newest. This one, oh yeah, I said it was published in 1946. So I might have got those a little out of order, but I'm close. All right, this next one, The Little Drummer Girl by John Le Carre. That's right. I remember seeing books by him on my mother's bookshelf growing up. I've never read anything by him, but this is a Book of the Month club, probably from the late 60s or 70s, just judging by the way that it looks. So let's look and see if there's a date in this one. Oh, 1983. It looks like it has to do with Israeli intelligence agents and elusive Palestinian terrorist leaders. And the terrifying adventure of a young English actress drawn into some kind of suspenseful adventure. It's really interesting. And I won't go into this too much because I don't want to go into politics, but just how long there has been a conflict in this area. Okay, there are 3 more in here. She sent me this Peterson bird guide, which I really love having things like this. We have this woodpecker in my backyard right now. I love just reading through these and then, you know, of course, keeping it close so that I can identify the things in nature. That has just been something I've always enjoyed doing. I grew up spending a lot of time in nature and just observing the different, you know, animals and birds and their sounds. And I never really thought it through, like, here I am sitting by the river observing these birds and sounds. But just being exposed, right, on a regular basis to the nature around me, I picked up on a lot and just appreciate a lot. And so this will be a really fun little book to learn about some of the details of I'm flipping through this, and so many of these birds are birds that I've seen, right? That are just in my neighborhood or that were in the neighborhoods of the places that I grew up. Oregon has different birds than Arkansas does. And so anyway, this will be a really fun little book. So thank you, Mom, for that. Then she sent me Elizabeth Strout's Abide With Me. And I read one other by Elizabeth Strout. My Name is Lucy Barton. Is that by her? I read that. And I had a lot of strong feelings about it. But I did pick up her Olive Kitteridge and the sequel, Olive Again. They're right there. Oh, you guys off screen, you can't see, but they're up there. And I haven't read them yet. And I know I haven't read this one. It looks like it takes place in England in the 1950s. And it's about a minister who has a personal tragedy. And I guess just trying to come to grips with that, maybe. So yeah, we'll look into that. This is the ARC. And it looks like it's one of her first, like before she even did the Olive books, maybe. So, and Lucy Barton as well. All right, and then the final book she included was actually one of my own that she's returning. This is called Lost in Darkness by Michelle Greep, and I talked about this a long time ago when I had read the second book that she had written. This one is it's a story similar to Frankenstein. So what this author has done in a couple of her books, she wrote another one that was similar to Dracula, but it tells the story in a way that, but the Dracula story especially told the story in a way that was like medically, scientifically a thing, and he wasn't really a vampire. People thought he was. And then this one, this guy Frankenstein, it's been so long I can't remember exactly how it goes, but I think that this guy's an outcast as well, and violence, he kind of goes mad and escapes, and this woman is like loves him or tries to get him under control or something. Anyway, they're interesting books, but yeah, I'll have to go back through it again to kind of try to remember it, because I've read hundreds of things since, but she's returning that so I can put it in my library with my other book by Michelle Greep. In this book, Mary Godwin is the neighbor. So anyway, it was a good story. All right, so that was my book haul from Mom. Thank you, Mom. I appreciate all the lovely books you sent. And I will be adding all these to my library. Next book haul video will probably be whatever I acquire in England, because I am planning on packing light because I want to fill my suitcase with books. Every time I go, I say that I want to do that, and then I end up bringing like a ton of clothes or whatever, or a ton of my own books. That is like such a bad idea. I'm going to bring one book, and then I'm going to pick up some while I'm there to read once I finish that one. But I usually don't have a whole ton of reading time while I'm there, because, you know, I'm either doing stuff or I'm super exhausted. But anyway, I'm planning on coming home with a bunch of books. So next book haul video will be whatever we picked up in London, Bath, and Winchester, and possibly at Stonehenge too, if we see something there in the gift shop that we want to buy. So hope that was fun for you guys. I will see you soon. Bye-bye.